Hi, you're watching Hexus TV. My name's Nick Hayward, and occasionally we get some really cool stuff coming to the Hexus TV studios, and today is one of those days because with me I've got the Thermaltake Level 10 chassis. This is an awesome piece of kit here with everything compartmentalised. So you've got your optical drives, your HD DDs, and then your component tray, and then the power supply, all in their own individual compartments. This is rolled aluminium, brushed black, finished, and it's co-designed with BMW Design Works. So you've actually had a car manufacturer make this. Now one thing you'll notice with this is that it has what they call an asymmetrical balance design, which means that everything is cantilevered off to one side. So the back of it is much narrower than the front of it where you've got everything mounted. Round the back there's a lock so that you can unlock the hard drive and optical drives, and we'll just ease that open. There you go. So you can now pull that off. There we are. And now you can see where you mount your optical drives. The same for the hard drives, we just unlock them and they slide out. The top two have little fans mounted in them, so they're actively cooled, and we'll just pull those out there like this. And you can see here they also have back planes in there, so these are hot swappable. The bottom four aren't hot swappable, there's no back plane supplied either, which could be a bit of a flaw, but you can always add them in later. Moving over to the back of the case, you can see there's the power supply, and then also the entire enclosure for the main board and your components also opens up as well for easy access. And you can also take off the back panel to do your cable management as well. Things to take of note here is that you've got a nice big cutout here so that you can do the rear panel mountings on the back of your motherboard for the larger coolers, but you are limited in height by how large a cooler you can have, although they have made an extension there. So one of the key concepts behind the Thermaltake Level 10 is cooling and thermal dynamics. So let's take the hard drives for instance. What you've got is you've got a 60mm fan at the top here. That's going to suck cool air in through this little vent and then blow the warm air out through the heatsink and through the top. Heat likes to rise, so that's the way they're pushing it. If we move over to the motherboard, you can see there's a large 140mm fan here and a 120mm fan at the back, and if I just pull the tray closed for a second, you can see the grid there. That's where your graphics are going to be mounted. It's going to be sucking the cold air in straight over your graphics, and plus also you've got a vent at the top there for your CPU cooler as well. And the same with the power supply at the top. Now these come ready fitted with a Thermaltake power supply in the 650, 750 and 850 watt flavours, and then you can see that all that happens is that just sucks the cool air in through there, and then the hot air is expelled out the back, keeping everything nice and cool. So you would expect high performance for this kind of thing, but you are limited by the actual depth of the case and the size of the cooler that you can mount on your CPU. So one slight down point there, but otherwise that's all looking quite cool. Now we're going to turn it round. I'm going to need some help because, like I say, it does weigh 24 kilos, and we'll have a quick look at the back. So this is the back of the Thermaltake Level 10. Doesn't look all that inspiring, does it? But let's just have a quick look here. If we want to get this back panel off, first of all, we have to put that to open like that, and then that actually allows us to unlock the back panel. Remove these two screws, just your standard thumb screws, and we should now be able to pull this off. There we go, that comes away like that. So let's have a look inside here. You can see there's lots of wires already fitted there, so you've got your SATAs for your hard drives up there, and then your front panel connectors and various fan connectors, all this sort of thing. But one of the things to look at is the amount of depth here that you've got for your cable management. A lot of cases don't give you very much depth at all, if any. So you're always cramming the wires in, but here you've got roughly about 20mm at the shallowest, apart from this bar here, to actually manage all your cables. With the power supply mounted up top, everything's got to come into this side of the case to be able to then run everywhere else, otherwise it's going to all look a bit stringy. Not much more to be said on that, apart from you've got your locking system, so you've got two lots of locks. So let's just have a quick look. You've got one lock here which does the main board and power supply pods around the front, unlock those, and also allows you to release the this panel itself. And then the other lock here is for your optical drives and your hard drives to allow you to release those. It could be argued that these locks are quite easy to pick, and they are, and so thievery could be an issue. But then again, seeing as the thing weighs 24 kilos, he's going to be fairly beefy sort of thief that's going to want to try and nick this thing anyway, so I'm not going to try and tangle with him. And there you go. Right, let's get this back on and we'll have a quick look at the front. Okay. It really does weigh a lot. Right, okay, first thing to notice on the handle here is this little plastic strip running down here, and there's red LEDs all the way along there. We haven't modded the power supply because we don't want to risk blowing it before we test it, but once we've got a motherboard installed in here, that will light up with a red glow when the thing's powered on. Same down the front here, there's a little one down there. So let's just have a quick look. You've got fairly standard stuff down the front there. Power on, reset. You've got an eSATA port, headphone, microphone, and then you've got 4 USBs as well, which is quite handy. A nice amount of USB slots in the front. And then of course you've got access to your optical drive there with a little push of the button, and the little panel drops down and out pops the drawer. Accessories that come with it. First off, seeing as you've got a modular power supply already installed, you've got the power cord and screws. And then for the actual power supply itself, here's the modular cables. And let's see, you've got, so there's Molex with floppy drive adapter, there's an eSATA, there's another Molex with floppy drive adapter, another eSATA, and then you've got the PCIe cables for your graphics. So you've got 2 6-pin and 2 8-pin cables, okay? But what if you've got graphics where you need to run 2 6-pin on 2 cards? Well, that's thought of already, because they've got 8-pin to 6-pin adapters in this little accessory kit, which also has Velcro tabs, and for some reason they haven't installed a silicone grommet to stop vibration in the mounted power supply. Don't know why they haven't already put it in, seeing as the power supply's in there. And lastly, you've also got your 8-pin to 8-pin for your P8 on the main board as well. That's the cables that come with it. And then finally, because it's quite a posh case, you get this nice little booklet here. And if we just open all this up, it's got a helpful pull here, so you know how to actually open it. There's all the information about the case, and you've got a nice little cloth to give it a polish. Now I've had my grubby mitts all over it. And then finally you've got all your mounting screws, and you've also got a little carabiner so you can stick the keys on it as well if you fancy, and a few other ancillary bits and pieces. Oh, and not forgetting a nice little hardback book to tell you all about the design, history and development of your case. So there you go, that is the Thermaltake Level 10. Impressive looking bit of kit. It doesn't need one of those Kensington lock things, because let's face it, anyone trying to nick this, once you've loaded it up with graphics cards and motherboard, CPU cooler, a couple of hard drives and an optical drive, it's probably going to knock in around sort of like 30 kilos or so, and any burglar's going to give himself a hernia trying to nick it. So there you are, the Thermaltake Level 10. We'll have a full review of that very soon up on hexis.net. Check back soon for more.